Good morning. I'm just a little bit sweaty from walking this morning. The sun is out and it's pretty powerful, so I apologize for that. But I listened to a video this morning and I thought it had an interesting message about we all experience new earth and old earth when we basically align to our intentions. So, for example, I have a work birthday party tonight with work colleagues, and I'm not going because I'm pretty sure that since my friends are not going to be there, that I would have a shit time, right? And it would pretty much easily go that way because that is what I'm expecting to experience. Or another example could be I just spend the week with my parents and I don't normally live with them, and it always turns out to be a difficult experience because we seem to still trigger each other a lot. And then it always turns out to be that way. But going back to the other example, if I had a positive expectation like I did when I went to the work party and had like the best time, it really was because I was aligning to my own expectation that it was going to be great, that I was going to have so much fun, that the music was going to be awesome, and it turned out that way, right? Or like, I don't know, there are endless examples of, like you have your favorite restaurant, and so you expect to always wine and dine in a certain way. And because you have that expectation, then, 90% of times it turns out to be that way. But then a friend comes along and they're like, oh, do you have any recommendations for a fish restaurant? And you're like, oh yeah, I always go there and it's amazing. We have so much good food. And then you call them the next day and they're like, yeah, well, that really wasn't my thing, or what we ordered wasn't great. And you're like, what do you mean? Like, every time I go, it's fucking awesome. Like, and then you just think, okay, maybe, we just have different tastes in terms of food, which is, of course, a possibility, but it's also, I just saw 3:33 on the clock, by the way. But it's also more so that because they don't have that positive expectation, it turns out to be, well, it goes from being a neutral experience, so it can go either way. It can go positively, it can go negatively. So it's like we all experience the good and the bad, and if we were aware that if we all decided at the same time that we wanted to experience new earth, it would instantly transform. But of course, people are still so trapped in their own ego, and of course I'm including myself in that, that most of the time we're just fighting ourselves and using others as a means of getting back at ourselves in a way, which is twisted even as I'm talking about it. So And you know, when you resonate with something, like, I've noticed this in the last, let's say, few weeks, especially the last week, because I've been on my own. And so imagine that my twin is constantly sending me a flow of love messages, because every time I get into my social media, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, I'm just being showered by these love messages, poems, and of course, like, I can read those and think that somehow he's directing those messages to me, and so I resonate with them, and I think it's from him, and it puts me in a good mood, and I feel all this unconditional love. And I'm sure that most of the messages are really being somehow directed from him to me. But it's the fact that I recognize that. It's the fact that I am aware that this kind of communication is even possible, and that I resonate with him, and that I resonate with the messages, and that I believe that he is the sender, even if obviously, you know, it's not signed with his name or initials or anything. But I'm the one plugging into that flow of love that is directed to me, and that is giving me so much clarity in all aspects of my life, not just in my twin flame relationship. But of course, just as much, I have the power to unplug myself from that, and all of a sudden doubt that I'm creating all of this, that he's, you know, impossibilitated to send me these messages from heaven, that he's probably, you know, doing his life review thing, and like, why would he spend time trying to, you know, communicate with me? Or, but then luckily I've just grown into watching a lot of mediums and talking about their own experiences, and seeing how, really understanding how death is not the end of anything, and the person is pretty much the same as you knew them here, except that they left the physical body and all their ego stuff, their pains, their illnesses, their misconceptions, their, you know, mental struggles, their psychological traits, all of that kind of stuff obviously is left behind. So it just becomes a pure stream of appreciation, of being grateful, of being loving and understanding and compassionate, and all of these beautiful things, which I think it really is a natural state, a natural flow state from the universe. Except that unfortunately we just cut ourselves off from it. We allow for doubt to creep in. We feel insecure, we feel unworthy. And so, yeah, we basically turn most experiences into shit experiences, like I was mentioning at the beginning of this video. And so you go to the shopping center, and because you're in a bad mood and you have a negative expectation, and you walk in the store and that dress that you really liked, they don't have your size, or another thing you really liked is overpriced and you can't afford it, and it ends up being a shit experience. Or you go with someone, maybe a partner, a friend, a relative, and they find all sorts of things, and you're like, you're not able to find shit for yourself, and that makes it even more miserable. So it's a lot easier, I think, than most people think it is. it's just trying to stay in a neutral headspace, trying to set the intention that whatever it is I'm going to be doing, I want to experience. I want to get the most out of this experience. And then just allowing you to resonate with the flow of things, with the flow of the energy of the universe. And that's basically creating your heaven on earth, or your new earth, or whatever it is that you want to call it. So yeah, I am grateful that, oh gosh, sorry for the, yeah, I am in Italy, in case you hadn't guessed. So yeah, I'm grateful for these morning walks because they allow me to articulate or better my thoughts, or it just inspires me to think more clearly and try to convey something that hopefully is of use to someone or interesting to hear. And I'm sorry for the background noises. Sorry if the audio isn't great. I have my earpieces, which sometimes work and sometimes it sounds like they're switched off. I don't know. Anyways, so I hope you guys are having a great month. August is always a very intense month energetically. So, you know, be easy on yourself. Whatever it is that you're doing, just try to be easy on yourself. And much love and appreciation from me. Talk soon. Bye.